Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video, and in my opinion a very exciting video because I'm going to be talking about the O.W.L.S April Reading Challenge. And it's actually really exciting for me because this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to start a channel. So for those of you who don't know, the O.W.L.S is an final exam process in the world of Harry Potter.
Hey, she's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one.
But I am the chosen one. Okay, sorry.
They do it in their 5th year, and it essentially helps prepare them for the career that they want to take. So it's like after they take the O.W.L.S, your 6th and 7th year kind of fluctuate accordingly, so you can take classes that actually fit your career. So first I wanted to go ahead and go over what my career is going to be. Last year, I believe I tried to be a healer.
I hope you don't mean yourself.
And honestly, I want to do the same thing this time. They really don't talk about healing magic too much in the Harry Potter world, but like in my headcanon or in my like own creative character, I've always wanted to be a healer or like use protective magic. And a fanfiction I've actually written, after my character graduates from Hogwarts, it pretty much goes back to Hogwarts and like takes over from Madame Pomfrey. So I think healing's really interesting. I'm going to link everything about this down below if you guys want to participate.
Honestly, don't you two read?
And then of course I'm going to attach some of the images on the screen so you can read along. But they have this really cool guide that goes over all the careers, and I'm just going to go over that first. So it says a wizard healer is a person who dedicates his life to improve and safeguard those of others. This is not a profession for the faint-hearted. Over the years, wizards seem to have taken it upon themselves to get into a ridiculous amount of trouble with the oddest of consequences, which you will struggle to find solutions for in your course books. But a healer training course will prepare you enough to be able to deal with the unexpected. It will, however, take years. As a healer, you will spend a minimum of 5 years learning the art of healing magic and a further 3 as a trainee healer before you will be allowed autonomy. Healing, in most cases, is performed through skilled improvisation, so you must know your remedies, anti-jinxes, and potions inside and out. The occupation of a healer is truly a testing one, but if you are certain you can devote many hours to practice as well as research, this will be a job that will keep your mind sharp, soul happy, skills up to date, and your Gringotts bank vault completely full. One of the main employers of healers are the major hospitals of the country, such as St. Mungo's Hospital for the Magical Maladies and Injuries in Great Britain, with branches in a majority of wizarding villages and cities. If you think you have the brain and heart for the profession, do not be daunted by the years of study, as we can promise you there will not be a dull moment in your life as a healer. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to take their word for it, but I kind of feel like healing wouldn't... I feel like they took what we know from healing in the real world and kind of applied it to magical healing. I really don't know if it would actually take that long of studying. I mean, I'm sure it can be a complex job, but anyways. So, the requirements to pass the owls...
I'm not an owl!
...and make it and continue on my path to become a healer is that I need to take and pass Herbology, Charms, Defense Against the Dark Arts, Potions, Transfiguration, and 3 other subjects of your choice. So we are going to go ahead and hop right into it. So for my Herbology class, the requirement is to read a book that starts with an M, and I have chosen to read Master and Apprentice. This is a Star Wars themed book, and I don't really know too much about it. I'm assuming it has to be just before the first prequel movie, but I've always wanted to know more about Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. I think they're probably like one of my favorite Star Wars people in the universe. I've actually read a couple of the really small like Apprentice series, I think it's called. I'll probably post some images up on there, but it kind of goes over how Obi-Wan first started. So I wonder if they're kind of like hand in hand with that, like if they're kind of contradicting. It's most likely probably just its own canon because after Disney took over, they wiped like all the books and made new ones. But yeah, anyways, I've been wanting to get to Master and Apprentice for a while, and this actually, when I first saw this prompt, it took me a while to find one. I had to go to my Goodreads and pull out like all the books that I have in my TBR for the full year. And when I saw that one, I was like, oh yes, because I've been wanting a reason to read this one for a while. So moving on, the charmed requirement is to read a book with a white cover. And I've chosen to read Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. I've been wanting to get to Steelheart for a while. I want to get through actually most of Sanderson's books that I haven't read yet this year. And almost all the UK editions have a white cover. The Steelheart book is mostly gray and green, but like the spine is white, and I'm kind of just like, I'm sort of fudging this one because it was already on my TBR and it's fairly short, and usually I can get through Sanderson's books really quickly, so I'm going to cheat there and just say that it is a white cover. So for next, we have Defense Against the Dark Arts, and it is a book at a sea or a coast, and I've chosen to read The House in the Cerulean Sea. I'm actually really excited about this one. I didn't think I was going to be able to get to it very soon in April because I had to order it from Amazon because I hadn't bought it yet. But it actually already came in and I just started reading it today. I'm like 3 chapters in. I think it seems like a really witty and cute book. It's, from what I can tell, I didn't read too much about the synopsis, but just from what I'm gathering, it's about a older gentleman. He's like, I think 40 years old, and he's not like, super attractive. He has a little weight on him, so a pretty average guy. And he works for essentially like social services or child protective services, but in this world, I guess there are people with magical abilities. So he helps children with magical abilities, I guess, like are in, foster care and stuff like that. So I'm not super far, but I really like the guy. He seems like he's got a lot of potential, and essentially I think what happens is he goes to an adoption or a fostering home that's, this house on the edge of a cliff or whatever, and I think the owner of that foster home is also gay, so I'm expecting good things to happen. I think it should be a really cute romance with, little magical elements here or there, and like I said, the cover is beautiful, and I think it's perfectly spot on for this prompt, so I'm really excited. I've already started it, and I'm enjoying it. So for the next one, for potions, it is under 150 pages. Now this one was really hard. I honestly couldn't find a book that was in my house that those 150 pages that wasn't a comic or a manga. So I decided to go ahead and pick up Injustice Year 2. I have like the first 4 years of this, and honestly I have at least in my point of view, I have like a ton of comics and a good amount of manga that I still have yet to read. So I feel like it's actually a pretty good prompt. I just sometimes feel like it's cheating to read a manga or a comic book. But the prompt is under 150, so I guess it works for me. I kind of forgot to read these. There's a sort of like little fun reason why that these prompts are the way they are. So I'm going to back up real quick and just go over them. So for Herbology, it says Mimbolus Mimbletonium. That's a plant in the Harry Potter world. So that's why that prompt is a title that starts with an M. For Charms, it is Lumos Maxima, which is, the spell that creates a blinding light. So that's why it's a white cover. Defense Against the Dark Arts subject is Grindylows, which are these water-based creatures. So that's why it's a book that is set at the coast or at the sea. And finally, Potions is a shrinking solution, so that's why the prompt is under 150 pages. So moving on to Transfiguration, which is about animagus, which are people that can turn into animals in the Harry Potter world. So this prompt is to read a book/series that include shapeshifting. I honestly feel like I probably have a lot more, but I couldn't think of them right off the top of my head. I actually saw someone else's video where they read Harry Potter, the third one, because it's Sirius Black and he's an animagus, and I was like, that's actually a really good idea. But I'm going to go ahead and keep doing newer books that I haven't read yet. So for this one, I don't have this one yet. I did have to order it, but it's the second book in the Shadow of the Fox series called Soul of the Sword. And I can't remember if the main character shapeshifts, but I believe she should be able to. No, wait, she definitely does. Yeah, she does shapeshift in the first one. So yeah, the main character is a kitsune, which is a fox spirit lady, and so she can turn into a fox. So there's my shapeshifting right there, so yay. Now, for divination, this one was interesting, but it's the third eye, and it just says assign numbers to your TBR and use a random number generator to pick your read. And I ended up getting Rage of Dragons, which is exciting to read, but honestly, it's kind of a chunker, so I hope I can get through it during the month of April. But
Now, if you two don't mind, I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed, or worse, expelled.
I've been really excited to read this. I've heard really great things, and definitely looking forward to getting to this. I don't really know too much about it. I just know it's like a fantasy world with magic and dragons. So, yeah, it's super, not vague at all, but check it out on Goodreads or look up a synopsis. It's really good. Or it's gotten really good reviews. So, by the way, that's the first subject I picked out of the 3 that you can pick by yourself. So, the reason why I picked Divination is I really like this idea of being able to sort of predict, like I said, since I want to be the Madame Pomfrey of Hogwarts, I think using Divination to kind of see if someone may be injured or what my day kind of has in store for me, if I'm going to be needed or if there's going to be any accidents or something like that. I thought that was a really interesting aspect, so that's why I chose to study Divination. Next is History of Magic. The reason why I thought this would be good as a healer is because, I mean, you have to study the history of magic and all the different ways that people have been healing and maybe the ways they haven't been healing and stuff like that, so I thought it was a good topic to study. Its prompt is Witch Hunts, so it's a book featuring witches and wizards, and this one's been on my TBR for a while, so I decided to pick Serpent and Dove, which is literally about a witch who goes undercover and ends up like marrying a witch hunter, unknowns to the witch hunter, so that she's protected from the witches that are hunting her. So I thought it sounded really interesting. I heard it's got really, really mixed reviews, so we'll see how that goes. And lastly, there are Muggle Studies, and I picked Muggle Studies because I thought it'd be interesting to most likely learn about how Muggles are healers and what practices they use. I thought maybe that could help us with our magic, or learn some hints or stuff like that. Because honestly, I feel like if the Harry Potter world was real, I almost feel like humans probably advance or take anatomy a lot more seriously because they can't just magic it away. So I wonder if there's any research into how Muggles heal that would end up helping magical healers and make it a lot easier. So I thought it'd be an interesting idea. So, and that prompt is book from a perspective of a Muggle, which is just a contemporary novel. So for this one, I wanted to pick The Infinite Noise. This is also an LGBT book. It sounds really interesting, and it's actually got some magical powers to it. So it's about 2 guys. So one of them is the typical popular jock, I believe, and the other boy is not that. And the jock actually has the ability to read minds or to hear people. So he's telepathic, which is one of my favorite powers. So contemporary LGBT book with telepathy, I think sounds awesome, and I don't think it's that long either, so I'm really looking forward to getting to that. But yeah, so those are all the books I'm going to be reading for my O.W.L.S. I really hope to get through it all in April. Last year, the prompts fit so many books, or multiple prompts fit a single book really well. I think I only had to read maybe 5 books or something like that. But this year, I really couldn't find any books that that stacked on top of each other. So hopefully I won't get overwhelmed. I mean, they are exams, and O.W.L.S are supposed to be really stressful in Harry Potter, so I guess I'll be feeling that.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
I know I feel like it should be easy since everyone's on lockdown. I should have more time, but honestly, I've been really busy with unpacking, making videos, working on revising my novel and stuff like that, so I don't have a super ton of extra time, but I'm going to try my hardest, and I hope to succeed. So I'll probably give you guys prompts, and I guess it goes without saying that this is also my April TBR. Obviously, all these books are going to be the ones I read in April, and yeah, I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. If you're also participating, let me know what you're reading, let me know what careers you're taking, and if you have your own video, go ahead and link that so I can go and watch that, and let's talk about this. So thanks guys for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
How could I be so stupid? I checked this out weeks ago. Forbidden light reading.
This is light.